So this is our favorite way to make chicken. I'm going to show you a marinade that I've come to love.
Oh.
I've changed it about 5 times, and this is the way we like to have it. This chicken is the standard way we grill. So first things first, we have to prep the chicken.
Very nice. I love it, Rube.
Chicken needs to be filleted. I know a lot of people like to have a whole breast, full thickness, but I like to fillet them, pound them out. And here I'm gonna show you my method of prepping the chicken. I like to cut all the fat off and the whatever. I know this is a beef term, but silver skin, I don't know what it is for chicken, but all the tough stuff you don't want to eat. And then there's the rib meat attachment part that I like to trim out. You'll see, I think the 6th breast is one that has it that I cut out. So here's the fillet. Check that you have an evenness. See, that whole side had a what is it? A fat line? Not a fat line. There's like a tendon line. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's tough enough to want to get rid of it. Pound it out. I don't use the spiky side of the pounder, the meat pounder. I like the flat side. And what's nice about pounding out the meat is you expose the fibers more for the salt in the marinade to soak in easier. You increase the surface area. A lot of the skin attachment I like to get rid of. And there's a lot of truth behind fat is flavor, but when fat gets in the way of texture while you're chewing, that's just unappealing. So I like to get rid of most of the fat. I mean, most of the fat melts away, but not the stuff that's tough. See, this is where the rib meat was attached. In this chicken breast, there was actually a bone, so I certainly had to make sure it was out. Pound it out again. Sometimes I pound it too hard, and some of the chicken separates, and I find it on the cutting board. If the pieces are big enough, I throw it in with the meat to grill later, but if they're too thin and will just fall through the grates on the grill, I just toss them in with the waste. See, that will be tough. That's not going to melt away fine. I like to get rid of that. Trick to cutting anything is a sharp blade. I like to sharpen my blades, I don't know, once every 6 months. I mean, you'll notice when they're dull enough, there's a lot of resistance, or enough resistance for you to get annoyed with it. I know the threshold is, for most people, is when they get dangerous, because if you're resisting enough, and you force through something, you have a higher tendency of cutting yourself because of the extra potential force that'll move through the food and then into you. Basically has higher friction. So when the friction breaks, it moves faster and without warning. But my threshold when sharpening is when it's annoying enough. So I don't even get close to the danger part. And then before I use the knives, I hone it with the honing rod. So all your chicken junk is in the supermarket styrofoam container. There was a chicken breast. Wegmans is our local, Northeast region supermarket. Fantastic place.
Hold on, Missy.
I like to wash my cutting boards right away. Sometimes I let the cutting boards soak for about 5 minutes with a layer of soap, you know, next to the sink. This time, I always use scalding hot water. I'm always burning my hands, but you know, it's a testament to how much you cook. My hands are numb, so shout out to my brother-in-law Dimitri. His hands are numb too, and my cousin Dino. Both of them. Grinder, wash it down. You'll notice I'm a clean freak. I like to make sure the whole area is clean. And the sink. Wash down your sink bays. Now this washcloth will last through this whole cleaning process. It's really just to remove the excess water. Drop it on the floor. You'll notice I use it again later, but my floors are clean enough. So I idiotically opened up a new oil, but as you can see, there's an oil right there on the counter. I switched from using an extra virgin olive oil to a more refined oil with less impurities. It's good for marinades. So yeah, I wasted the effort of opening this up. But I mean, I'm going to use the old one and this one fast enough, so we use it fast enough. Dump it in. Make sure you use enough to cover it all when we mix it up. Plenty of salt. Salt is meat's best friend. Lemon juice. Worcester sauce. Soy sauce. I should have used a bit more. Syrup. I think this is Miss Butterworth. No, Top's butter. Cracked pepper. Nah, I just used the pre-ground stuff. Garlic powder. Onion powder. And then we mix it up. Really mix it up. You want all this stuff as uniform as possible. Homogeneous. Even though it's heterogeneous. Make sure there's an even concentration per, what would it be, per milliliter of marinade liquid. I had some chicken on my arm there. I like to wash twice. First is bulk, second is grease. Well, first is bulk and grease. Second is just make sure you get all the... Or third time. This time I did third time. Under the ring. Wash off. Cover. Now, the trick is, for any marinade, is the time you let it, soak everything up. So this one I let it marinate for 24 hours, which is pretty standard for me. I always do about a 24. Sometimes I do a 48. Actually, this one I did a 24 and a 48 because we did half and half each time. We had chicken 2 nights in a row. See? Wash again. I know there's a big discrepancy on these dish wands. I like them. So here I use the washcloth again. I think the big issue with the dish wands is the same reason people have issues with using knives. They hold them the wrong way. You want to choke up on your grip. You want to use the dish wands by holding closer to the sponge, even right over the sponge. See, I got rid of that washcloth. Now I sanitize. Same with the knife. See, I washed that. I sanitized where that chicken landed before. The trick with a knife is choke up on the handle. You don't want to hold the handle. You want to hold the blade, and the handle's just there for balance. Pretty much. Now, I tend to like to have raw meat at the end of a garbage bag, so I don't have to have it sit and exude a smell. Garbage bags are empty. We have an odd storage system at the moment. Caught me here in this video when I had to replenish a bunch of low-level items in the kitchen. Oil, garbage bags. Wash your hands again. I touched that garbage can outside. Good to go. So this is 24 hours later. Dinner time. We're doing chicken and broccoli. Very basic. Kids love broccoli. Good calcium. You know, it's a big myth. Even though there's calcium in milk, you know, you get more calcium in your green vegetables. It's much better for you, too. It's just a sales tactic for the dairy farms. Factory farms. Now we preheat the grill. This is one of my favorite machines. Although it's not really a machine. It's a heat bath. Not all tools are machines. High heat, all four. Just to bring it up to temp. Chicken out.
Yeah, we need to do that.
I like the tongs you can really beat up on the grill. Okay, round 400, 450. Now what's better, what I should have done is let the chicken rest out of the fridge a little bit so the coagulation loosened up a bit and was more liquid. You can see it's the oil's more yellow and hardened. I do half the grill. If it's just single dinner, we do half the grill. And the other half I turn low, just so the heat doesn't escape. So it's providing some heat, because you want the grill to act like an oven too. Since this dropped, I washed it off. Mix it around so it stays marinating properly for the next 24 hours. Stick it back in the fridge. Now, after the first time I grabbed the chicken to put it on the grill, I washed these off for obvious reasons. Let it rest until we use them again. Broccoli's ready to go in. We do 5 minutes. This is off. Most of the time, you don't need soap and everything. If it's just food, wipe it off. Unless it's raw or liquidy and soaked in.
Chicken and broccoli.
I love these strainers. Prep it.
We don't have any more carrots. I thought we did, Ruby.
Ruby loves carrots. So does Harvey. So does Eleanor. They love broccoli and carrots. But we ran out of carrots 2 days before. Okay, grab the tongs, go out, do a flip. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. And then trade spots. You know, you can see I had the darker The spots in the middle. Although that could have been because the pieces were smaller. The wind blew it off. We get a lot of wind in the backyard. The street has a tendency to act like a wind tunnel. So I have a tray to use to bring the meat in. Get that ready. Broccoli comes off.
Are you coffee?
Now sometimes we don't always eat broccoli super hot. We let it cool down. Let that sit for a bit. And back out. Take the chicken off. It's done. I love the filleted because they char. You know, thinner chicken. To me, it has more flavor. Check it just to make sure. That's the thickest piece. Eat the smallest one. Check it out. Ooh, I already know how good it tastes. It's a treat. I always clean it right away. Clean your grills right away. Don't let it sit and clean it the next time. It's much easier to get going the next time you use it. You can throw the food on right away and not have to worry about cleaning it. Just do it now. It's already hot. Also, when you turn your grill off, clear the lines by turning the propane off first.
Put them in the this.
Let it burn out. Only takes like 2 seconds for it to burn out anyways.
This is better. I figured you could do it your way. Might as well.
Squirt bottle for the
Oil.
lemon.
Yeah, I can do that. Don't we have another bottle?
Banter, banter, banter.
Ooh, how did I do that? So she puts on olive oil, Mediterranean sea salt,
Oh.
and lemon juice. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta narrate. Although I'm gonna narrate over, I'm gonna dub over it. So.
And then we toss it. This one come out too quick.
I don't know what the difference is with this between this and this.
Well, that's the last one.
We can go with it. And get in there nice and deep like.
Me and our kids love broccoli,
Love
so
it.
we load them up.
Oh yeah. Get that fiber going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, no, we're like,
They want a thick one. Oh man. That really came out good. Oh yeah. Mmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
So here I'm chunking them, but if you're gonna have strips, you want to keep your cuts lengthwise because the fibers go sideways.
You're right, Harv.
You want a higher count of short fibers rather than a lower count of long fibers.
Yeah. I've not been having enough water.
I woke up like my tongue hurt, how dry my mouth was.
Yeah. I know. Even with those signs, I haven't been drinking enough. Like I've been waking up parched, and I'm like, I'll just go back to sleep.
However, I'm not going to drink.
I've been too tired to like turn over and get water.
I shouldn't have watched this because I ended up cutting after this, cutting more. I wasn't sure exactly how we were gonna eat. Although I already saw the salad
Yes. Other than broccoli.
my
Well.
wife took out, so I should have guessed how we were gonna have it. I'll eat it anyway. It's great as a side dish.
Blue
As
cheese,
the main dish.
ketchup. Eleanor, you want blue cheese or ketchup? Ruby, do you want blue cheese or
Big
ketchup?
question of the night:
Ruby,
blue cheese or
do
ketchup?
you want ketchup?
She also loves red hot. My two girls love the red hot,
Good for that boy.
buffalo style. A buffalo, blue
Yeah,
cheese,
you know.
and red hot. Although buffalo sauce is red hot and butter.
You
Yeah, we didn't use this lettuce fast enough.
yeah, we didn't eat this fast enough. Crap.
We usually do, but this time we didn't.
Oh, so I'm cutting more.
I'm not proud enough to
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
take that mistake out. Life is life. I try to be as honest as possible.
And then throwing it out.
That's the thing with these videos. I want you to see all my tendencies of how I do things, some mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. You know, these topics tend to be more appealing if you can see how I make mistakes and how I fix them and what I do about them. Comment on this washcloth. This is a new one. Remember, I threw that old one out. I know they're the same color,
Give her a little
just
bowl.
to avoid confusion.
Give her like 5 pieces of lettuce. Your feta? A ladle brazzle.
I always like to let our cutting boards dry with as much surface area hitting the air as possible. That spot tends to be the best place for them to dry.
Do you have the feta?
Poppy seed's my favorite. And that's dinner. Very basic. Super basic. Super easy. Little prep. You'll love it.